Assalamu alaikum guys, this is Osama bin Amir with another video of Atomic Habits. Today we are taking second chapter of Atomic Habits, which is comprised of you know, three or four headings basically, and it basically talks about fundamentals. You know, how small habits. I have talked about fundamentals so many times. You can go watch those videos. I have a specific video on fundamentals. You can go check it out. That now here we are going to talk about how habits, or how your habits shape your identity and vice versa. For example, if there is an identity of yours, then you're going to have specific habits, and if you have specific habits, you are going to have specific identity. So this is like kind of something that is called you know, the vice versa kind of thing. Having some kind of identity will force you to have certain habits, and having certain habits will force you to become to have you know, certain habits. Now there are three layers of behavior change. Here are they. Basically there is outcome, process, and then identity. So our identity is something that is inside the ball, inside the circle. There's a bigger circle, and then there is a small circle called identity. Now if we want to change one of our habits, or we want to build new habits, there are two possible ways we can use. And that is like, either we will take like outcome based habits, which is like this. You have certain outcome waiting for you, and it forces you to take actions, and that becomes your identity. Or you can choose identity based habits, which is becoming something or thinking like someone else who has those habits, and then working, and then becoming and then getting receiving outcomes or progress. Basically this is the main idea, that our identity is shaped by the kind of actions we take. You know, if we take, for example, actions like doctors, chances are that we will turn into a doctor. Like, the actions have shaped our identity. And if we work, if we think, like, if we say like, okay, I am a doctor, okay, I'm working in biology field, I am studying biology, let's think it like a doctor. Let's see how doctors interpret information, and let's see how they organize. See, this is the idea, that we are not going to be doctor overnight. It's going to take years. So building these small habits of just thinking like doctors can make you more vulnerable to becoming a doctor, you know. So this is the basically main idea. And it really turns out that our belief actually plays a very important role in something called habit shaping. If we have belief that we cannot do certain thing, there is no chance that our brain will do any kind of effort to do so. So, and beliefs are shaped by our identity. So the kind of people we are around ourselves from, the kind of content we read, the kind of videos we watch, the kind of people we admire, the kind of people we hate, really shapes our beliefs. And our past experiences shapes the way they will behave in the future. So the goal of yours should not be to actually become someone overnight. No, that's why author says, like, quit searching for goals, stop searching for goals, instead work on systems. Why? Because the goal should not be to read a book, it's to become a reader. This is the fundamental of this book. The goal is not to run a marathon, the goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to learn an instrument, the goal is to become a position. Let's think about a reader. Let's think like a reader and read a book. So the chances are that when we become a reader, not only we will finish reading that particular book, we will go on to read more books. So the idea here is to change kind of the way we look goals, kind of beliefs that we have. If I don't finish this book, I am fucking loser. Change this belief system. Change your identity. If you don't like films, if you, for example, if you don't like a movie, you won't watch it. But if you just like watching movies, you will watch half of the movie and you will say, no, I don't like it. Turn on to a different movie and watch that fully. Maybe rewatch that. That's how books work as well. So the goal should not to be to read a book completely. It's not going to happen if you don't like that book. So instead, become a reader. And if you become a reader, highly probably you're gonna actually read that book as well. There are two steps that we can change our identity. It's like to actually force ourselves to actually become more vulnerable to repeating certain things. If we think that i am I am bad at something, for example, I am terrible with directions, I am not a morning person, I am bad at remembering people's name, I am always late, I'm not good with technology, I'm horrible at math. Do If you think that I am terrible at something, do it, man. Do it. Break that belief down. I was terrible at storytelling and I uploaded videos related to storytelling, and I named it, to avoid negative thoughts, I named it as terrible at storytelling. And it turns out that it was good. It was lately, actually, I was sitting with my little cousin sisters, and they asked me to tell stories. So I was like, I would talk about characters first, and then I will go on talking about setting, and then I will do this and this. No, that's not how it works. That's why technical work, and our brain is not actually a technical entity. It works on habits. So I sat down and I started thinking about certain things, and as they show up, the movies I had watched, the books I had read, the visuals I have seen, the kind of games I have played, all that combined, and I sat down in front of them and told them stories. And the practice I did while recording those terrible storytelling videos, I was able to use that. That practice came to save to actually serve me, and I told them multiple stories. They basically like horror stories. So I told them with the actions, with the dialogues of horror and and the feeling of feeling terrified. So it turns out that it worked lately, but it only happened when I was like, no, I'm not good at storytelling. But when I sit down in front of them and I like, no, you have to tell them stories. And that turned out to be something that I really enjoyed and I was able to do. So if you think you are terrible at something, and you really have to do it to be to be good at, your life actually depends upon that. For example, health. If you say like, I'm not good at gym, you have to do it because it's like essential thing. Break down that belief, and it can start from simply just by visiting gym every single day. If you want to speak a language and you say, I'm terrible at speaking language, speak one sentence every single day and say, okay, man, let's say that same sentence to someone else in the street. And with repetition, our belief system, it becomes bigger. We are not going to be out of our this shell that we have, the body that we have, the physics we have, and the mental approach that we have. We are always going to be bound. But the idea is to actually expand our beliefs. The life is very small. So one thing that you can do is by saying that, decide the type of person you want to be. Prove it to yourself with small wins. For example, I wanted to be the person who could tell stories, fluently, with not missing main parts, without losing the track. So I wanted to be like that. But there was a hard approach that I would read, and a lot of work there was. So I automatically, I think that came from this book. I went on to see those small videos. I always wanted to be a YouTuber. So it like combines. I wanted to be a YouTuber. I am uploading YouTube videos. I wanted to be good at English speaking. I am using English. These tools are actually working for me, and ultimately I became good at storytelling as well. At least better than what I used to be in the past. So this is what, like, first of all, think about the kind of person you want to be, and then show yourself small wins to break down small, the kind of beliefs that you have. So why small habits really work? This is like one thing that everybody asks. It's like, if you have small, ultimately your habits matter because they help you become type of person you wish to be. They are the channel through which you develop your deepest belief about yourself. See, we are not going to destroy belief system altogether. Instead, we are going to use belief system for us to expand our, quite literally, you become your habits. Quite literally, you become your habits. I'm now going to recite you full summary because I'm dumbass at, summarizing it by myself. I'm not good at anything. So I would use the very text written here to tell you the summary. So chapter's summary. I think if you haven't learned anything from the chapter by my commentary, you can actually learn summary. And I think I should say the summary in the first, so that people, my watch time would go to almost 30 seconds maybe. So people would say like, okay, there is a summary. So there is the summary. There are three levels of change: outcome change, process change, and identity change. The most effective way to change your habits is to focus on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. The main point. Your identity emerges out of your habits. Every action is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Becoming the best version of yourself requires to continually edit your beliefs, those small beliefs, and to upgrade and expand your identity. The real reason habits matter is not because they can get you better results, although they can do that, but because they can change your belief about yourselves. With that note, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, um, you know make your life more enjoyable. Samir out.